Here we go, guys. Session one, it begins. The 100K factory. I think this is probably the most important thing to say right up front in many different languages, but thank you so much. You know, we take this really, really seriously. I don't know that I can even impress upon you how much we take this seriously, but it's a big deal for us. I know it's a big deal for you, big investment, and you know, we just wanted you to know how incredibly thankful we are and how serious we take it. And you know, we basically are putting our own businesses on hold for probably at least 3 months by the time we, you know, kind of make sure that we, you know, I mean, get everybody moving and all that kind of stuff. And people work at their own pace sometimes. So, you know, that's kind of what we're faced with here. And I'm excited to kind of stop selling, you know, and just start teaching. I mean, I think this is always my favorite part of when we're, you know, launching a course, and when we kind of get everybody together and we start down the path. It's a great time. All things are possible, and everybody's really excited. So I am certainly excited. All right. Just bear with me one moment. Okay. So let's talk about the team. We have got the A team here. And I'm not going to make any comments about who is who in the picture, but obviously that's Aiden on the right. I mean, that's Aiden really likes his
You can use your imagination.
Yeah. So we've got me, Steve, and most of you probably know me from from films like the sales video for, you know, for 100K Factory. But Aiden and I are business partners, and we're the creators here of the product, and then we've got lots of other people helping out. Mark and Brent, some of you may have heard from on some of the webinars. Chris, you probably haven't heard from, but you're going to hear from quite a bit, and I'll talk more about Chris in a minute. And Melissa, David, Cheryl, you may have heard or talked to Melissa if you had some billing issues or anything like that. But those guys will probably be more kind of behind the scenes. But on the webinars, there'll be some combination of myself, Aiden, Mark, Brent, and Chris every time. Okay, so that's the team that we have right now. And again, I'm going to talk. Chris has a special role on this team, and I'll talk to you about that as we get a little further here. So one of the first things that we asked you guys to do was to take a survey, a one-question survey, to see when are the best times for these training sessions. And I thought I'd just share the results with you so that you could figure out why we are, you know, changing the times. So this covers about 80% of the folks who are going to attend the training, these 4 time slots, okay? And you can see the percentage of people, 35% of you guys actually preferred this one. But there are these 4 slots that we're going to be rotating through, and we'll probably use this one. I believe we use this one a little bit more than the others, just given the fact that it was kind of double its closest competitor there. Okay, but this is what everybody said in the survey. Does everybody remember the Richard
We're talking
Dawson?
Eastern. By the way, when we mention these times, we're always talking Eastern time zone, guys. So
Yep.
New York time zone.
Now, I'm just doing. By the way, I'm just doing some housekeeping first, and then we'll kind of dive into, you know, the training for tonight.
And just a couple of people have mentioned us seeing a black screen. If you're having any issues, you will be able to see everything perfectly on the replay. Okay, so I'm not sure why that would be that you're seeing a black screen.
So bonus delivery, just so you know, there are a lot of bonuses that are already in there. We have a fairly complicated task to try and make sure we get all the right bonuses to all the right people, but please rest assured that we are on task. Okay, so I would expect that, you know, within the next week or so, we're going to get all those little kinks worked out, and everybody will have all the things that they're supposed to have. In the meantime, if you could just be patient, because the more people that send in like emails about, well, where's my bonus? And it's like, okay, well, we have to answer those before we can actually get to making sure that everybody has the right stuff. So if you would, just a little patience. There's enough in there bonus-wise for those of you who are getting certain bonuses and stuff to keep you busy. Believe me, the white label cheat sheet for some of you is probably is enough to keep you busy for a long time. So please hang in there, relax, just have a little bit of patience. We are on it. It's really important to us. We're going to make it happen. Okay. Let's talk about getting support and help. We've got a whole bunch of ways, and for a whole bunch of different reasons and things like that. So if you've got kind of those sort of administrative stuff, billing, login issues, hey, I want to change the email address that I'm set up as, things like that, then please just go to our help desk, support.blueprintcentral.com. That's probably the quickest way to get support, and then we can focus on kind of the things that are more strategic in nature with the 100K Factory. So the 100K Factory help at gmail.com is really all the go-to place, okay? So all training issues and questions, anything to do with the course, even anything to do with the tools, anything like that, can go to 100K Factory help at gmail.com. And I'll explain a little bit more about how we're going to manage these email boxes in a second. Now, we've also set up 100K Factory Emergency at gmail.com. Now, this is for emergencies. Now, certainly, everybody's idea of what an emergency is different. So, for example, today, we had someone who used that email address to simply say, hi, I wanted to introduce myself. So, I would just say that's probably not an emergency, okay? And it is certainly left open to you to determine what is an emergency. Nobody's going to yell at you or anything like that. But, I would try and make sure that it really is. We had a couple people who lost the link to the webinar like half an hour before the webinar or whatever. It's kind of an emergency, right? Because, if you really want to do attend live, that kind of thing. The other way that we're going to have interaction is on these, you can call them go, no-goes, green lights, checkpoints, and we'll talk about those because we have the first one coming up right away, actually. So there'll be more detail about that tonight. And we've got some other ideas about how to make sure that we get the best interaction with all of us to make sure that everybody's moving in the right direction. So that stuff is coming. So how do we see this working and kind of, who's doing what and when are these manned? These are all, as Aidan said before, we're talking about Eastern time here. Our support email, our support.blueprintcentral.com, is every business day is 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. So there's someone there quite a bit, and again, during every business day. The help email, we are going to be manning that between 6 a.m. and 7 p.m. every business day. Now, the triage will sort of vary, okay, as far as kind of like who's watching it to make sure that everybody's getting what they need. Basically, what's going to happen is one of us will be managing that and saying, okay, this person needs some help. So, and if I can't just answer it or help them immediately, then we're going to have to go to kind of like a level 2. And that level 2 will could go to programmers, it could go to one of the team members that I introduced when I introduced the team. But the key is somebody who is best able to handle that. We all have our strengths and weaknesses. For example, you're not going to want me to be looking at anything as far as design goes. You're just not going to get a good answer, So we all have our strengths and weaknesses, and what we'll try and do is make sure that the best member of the team starts to work with you to fix your problem. So that might mean, right, that sometimes it's right away because the best member of the team happens to be the one kind of manning the email box, or it might mean that the best member of the team is Aidan, and he's out for the night, or he's out for the day, or God forbid he's taking a little time off, something like that. So then it might take a little bit of time. Okay. Now the emergency email, we are trying to man about 16 hours per business day for immediate action. I don't want to say that it's going to always be manned on Saturday and Sunday, but pretty much if we're around, we're always going to be taking a peek and making sure that nothing new pops up in there, nothing new that's a real emergency, as opposed to someone just trying to introduce themselves over Saturday or Sunday, okay? And Chris, in his role, which I'm going to talk about in just a minute, is going to be riding shotgun over all of this, okay? So let's talk about Chris. We're calling Chris our customer satisfaction ninja. Chris, you didn't even know that that was your job title, did you?
Now we do.
Yeah. And we've never had a customer satisfaction ninja. So we are very excited, but we're a little nervous. Not quite sure. But we really wanted to make sure that we brought somebody in on the team whose only job it is to make sure that everybody's happy, which is a tall order, you know. Wakes up every morning and just thinks of ways to make it easier for you guys. So, you know, I look at Chris as kind of the, just your representative, you know, your liaison, and somebody who's an advocate for you. So Chris is going to be making sure that the recordings get up to date, the members area is up to date, that everybody's getting their bonuses, that everybody's aware of what's going on with replays and such, and coordinating the summary and cheat sheets and things like that. And basically also to just kick us on the butt and say, you know, come to us and say, listen, this is not clear. People are having trouble with this. Maybe you should do this, okay? Whatever it takes. But that is the customer satisfaction ninja. So we're very excited to see that in process. I talked a little bit about checkpoints. You know, these are all the same thing, right? You could call them green lights, go, no-goes, checkpoints. For phase one, we're going to have at least 3 of them. Okay, we have 3 of them planned out right now. So the first one is from session 1, which is today, which is picking your niches and domains. And session 2 is that one will be that your Facebook pages are ready to go. And session 3 is that your websites are ready to go. Don't worry about this yet. Believe me, I'm giving you a big picture, and then we are going to narrow our focus and bring it down, down, down to the first task. So I'm going to show you the whole elephant, and then we're going to eat the elephant one bite at a time to beat that dead horse, okay? Now, something else I want to let you know, if tomorrow you are going to get an email, well, you should. You should get an email tomorrow that says something like, hey, we had our great kickoff webinar last night, okay? The replay is available in the members area. Please go get it, all right? Something like that. If by Monday, okay, just to be on the safe side, you do not get that email, then somehow, some way, you're not set up properly. If it didn't show up in your spam or your junk or whatever, we always have all sorts of problems trying to make sure everybody gets emails. If you don't get an email like that, okay, then please go to the members area and go to the email sign up and put your email in, even if you did it before, because sometimes it just doesn't work, okay? This way, because this is our way to communicate to everybody, and I want to make sure that you're going to get all the emails, so please, please do that, okay? Okay. I am going to give you an overview of phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3. There'll be progressively less detail between phase 1, 2, and 3 because I want everybody to focus, okay? But I want everybody to understand where we're headed. I want you to see the whole elephant, and then we will begin to eat the elephant one bite at a time. And I promise I'll try to stop using that metaphor. But it's so good, I'm not sure that I can. Okay, overview phase 1. So what are we trying to do here? I want to be very, very specific. We want to build 4 websites and the associated Facebook pages. Now notice I didn't say 4 Facebook pages. I'm not quite sure how many Facebook pages that you are going to build. You'll build as many as you need, and we'll tell you how many you need. We're going to build an audience as our foothold. And if some of you saw the webinars, which I hope you did, you'll have a little bit of an idea of what that means. But we're going to build a small, well, not a small, a rather large audience as our foothold. We're going to use some proprietary software that we have to market proven content to drive massive amounts of cheap traffic and often free traffic. We're going to optimize marketing campaigns and optimize our ad serving so that we make money. We're going to monetize with AdSense or something like it at first because it is the easiest thing, okay? Now, if you're an advanced marketer and you're already doing a whole bunch of other things, can you do something other than that? Yes, But we're going to try and get everybody to do the same process, and I'll talk about that in a minute, okay? And up front, AdSense or something like it, so please, if you got banned by AdSense, there are other things like AdSense, no problem. We'll tell you about those when it's time, okay? But we're going to monetize with something like AdSense so that we can reach $2,000 per month per site profit goal. And then I want you in maintenance mode and preparing for phase 2 and 3. Maintenance mode meaning let's continue to make money. Okay? That is phase 1 on one slide. Phase 2, we have this incredibly focused audience that we're developing. What are we going to do with it? There are so many options. Physical products, info products, Kindle, affiliate marketing, email marketing, all sorts of things we can be doing, and we will be doing them all with software and tools and sneaky tactics and all of our secrets to squeeze out even more money. The results are insane. You saw, some of you saw in the webinar, I forget if it was Brent or Mark, had a product and he sold, you know, $17,000 in one day of this product. Okay, and that was all because, you know, he basically employed the stuff that we're going to show you in phase 2. Okay, now don't worry if you don't have a physical product, an info product, Kindle affiliate marketing. Don't worry. I don't want you to get lost or upset yet. This is like, think of this as the second elephant. I don't know. Okay, we're going to come back to the first elephant. We're going to eat it in chunks. But I want to give you an idea of what we are going to try and accomplish together. Phase 3, again, you'll notice that I'm getting progressively less detailed here. Phase 3, we're going to turn it up to 11. Does anybody get that reference? I'm going to look in the chat box. Come on. Somebody's got to get that reference. Come on, come on. Yes! Nice. There's some old people here with me. Love it. All right. And another 80s reference. It's called Spinal Tap is the movie, or this is Spinal Tap. And, you know, what we're talking about here is scaling, taking this whole thing and just blowing the doors off of it, okay? We have much to teach, okay? But we're going to bring it back to bite-sized chunks. But I want you to know why I've scheduled you through the end of August. Okay? Because phase 1 is only going to take us till really through session 8, you know, that kind of the first 60 days. All right? But I wanted you to know why I want you around longer than that, okay? Okay. So let's talk even more detail now. We're only going to focus on phase 1. I'm going to tell you what we're going to do in each session. I'm going to lay out the next 8 sessions. This is session 1. We're going to be talking about niche selection, domain selection. So we're going to pick a niche or 2, and we'll talk about that. And we're going to find you 4 domains. That's what we're going to do. That's what we're going to train you to do tonight and what you're going to do between now and session 2. In session 2, we're going to build Facebook pages. We're going to put together an initial content plan. We're going to begin building the websites, and we are going to figure out our monetization plan. All right? And we are going to start building our audience on the Facebook pages. In session 3, we're going to continue to build our audience. We're going to completely build out all our websites, and we're going to put together our initial content plan for those websites, execute that plan, and then make sure that we are all set up for our monetization, whatever that may be. Session 4, we are going to start the traffic avalanche. We're going to run ad campaigns. We're going to work on creating those ads, running those ads, making sure we spend just pennies, okay? We're going to evaluate and tweak, and our goal there is to start to run a campaign for 1 of your 4 sites. So that is session 4, and it is not that far away, okay? And we have much to do. Sessions 5, 6, and 7 are going to be an expansion of that to all 4 sites. What we envision here is a lot of hot seats, examples, you know, just showing, and the case study, and which I'll talk about in a little while, you know, of our own stuff, how we're doing, and just basically learning by example and just going through iterations of what we're talking about with different marketing campaigns. So we expect to spend, because folks, this is really the meat. The other stuff is fairly, it's not, I mean, some of it's not, you know, straightforward, but this is really where the rubber meets the road. This is how you make the money, okay? So we got to spend some time on this, all right? And we're going to judge how everybody's doing, and then we probably will make some adjustments on those sessions. maybe we'll do a Q&A, we'll do just a show and tell, we'll figure it out as we kind of see how everybody's doing. And then session 8, we want to bring it all together with the long-term work planning and scheduling and cash flow management and all that kind of stuff. Basically, let's be able to put this kind of on autopilot while we intro ourselves into phase 2. All right. Now, let me just check and make sure there aren't any questions. All right. Hey, Chris, if you're reading the question box and you come across something that, I need to stop for, if you could just let me know that, that'd be awesome.
Sure.
Okay. And yes, each session is per week. We'll do 1 session per week. Okay. I have no idea how to get rid of the thing that's over there now. There we go. Okay, good. Adjustments. We will probably make adjustments to this schedule, to the content, to how we train on it, how we introduce it. Not exactly sure how, but we'll just have to see. Okay. So because things do change, and people learn differently, and we will learn from people as well. Okay. Now, a word about rushing ahead. Everybody, I get this all the time. Okay, I can do it faster. I can do it faster. I can do it faster. I'm sure you can. I'm sure you can. I'm sure a lot of people can. I don't want you to. I can't tell you. We didn't used to deliver our courses like this. We would have them all done and in there, and I cannot tell you how many times I would release a course that was quite involved. I mean, you're talking about hours and hours of video, maybe 10, 15 hours of video, and lots of tools and lots of steps to go through and things like that. And 12 hours after I opened the course and somebody got in, I would get this message saying, "Yeah, I've done it all, and I don't really know what to do next, or I just this didn't work for me." I'm like, really? In 12 hours you did the whole thing, which should have taken you like 60 days? I mean, it's just unbelievable. So I'm not saying everybody would do that, but I just want you guys to just take a deep breath and work with us and just take it step by step, because even if you feel like you want to move faster, this is the best way to ultimately end up where you want to be. You're just going to have to trust me on that. And it also helps with like the software release schedule and support and the go, no-goes. If we kind of, as best we can, sort of herd people through at the same time, because it's just easier. And for example, the software, we're going to be releasing it by module, and you're going to get the module that you need for any given moment in time. Because I know if I release the content module, here's what's going to happen. I'm not going to have any time to answer questions about domains and niches, which is really important to most people, because everybody's going to play with the content. That's exactly what will happen. And then I'll get like 1,000,000 questions about the content. All right? I know this to be true. All right? So we're not doing it. We're not rushing ahead. And this is the way it's going to be because it's the best way. And that kind of goes along with the, I thought this was hilarious. I stole this from somebody. I don't know. It's another 80s TV reference with Fantasy Island. But since I'm always talking about the plan, and just follow the plan. Please. That's all I'm asking. If you follow the plan, I'll help you till I pass out. Okay? Okay. So if you've been banned, this is awful. It sounds horrible. If you've been banned by Google AdSense, don't worry about that. Okay, we're going to address that in the when we get to monetization. Okay, because there's other options for us. If you've been banned by Facebook advertising, I'd like you to send an email to the emergency section. Okay, the emergency email address. And then we're going to try and help those that we can. Okay. I don't know what this slide or this picture necessarily has to do with competition, but I really liked it. It did, in all fairness to me, it did come up when I went into Google image search and typed in competition. So, you know, I got that going for me. But I love this slide. So just a word about competition, because I have heard already in the chat box, you know, people talking about, oh, there's, you know, what if other people are doing this? There's too many people doing it, whatever. This is, and I talked about this in the webinar, so at the risk of repeating myself, I think this is really, really worthwhile. This is so unlike anything else that you've ever done, that I've ever done with regard to competition. It is the first time when you can absolutely say that competition really doesn't matter. And it's because you guys are not really competing against each other. Even if you pick exactly the same niche and exactly the same sort of sub-niches that you're going to build your sites about. And so why is that? When you talk, physical products are probably the easiest way that I can make the example work. If you're selling, pick something. If you're selling, you know, red widgets, I always use my example, red widgets. If you're selling red widgets and 20 other students that you're working with are selling red widgets, then you are all competing for the customer, that one customer at any one moment in time who says, I need a red widget, right? He goes to Amazon or whatever, he goes to Google search, and he says, I need to buy one red widget, and I got 21 of you to look at and buy from. I'm going to buy from one of you, and the rest of you are screwed, right? So that's why competition is bad. Because this guy only wants to buy one red widget, and only one person can win. But in this scenario, in trying to get people to come to those sites, which is really the goal, that's like almost a sale, okay, because if you can get the traffic, you can make the money. You're not competing, because this guy who wants to buy the red widget in this different example, he will gladly go to all 21 sites as long as you're giving him interesting content. And he doesn't put one against the other. It's all about that individual piece of content, okay? And you know this because you've clicked on Mashable and Huffington Post, and I freaking love science. So you don't care. You don't even know. You're not saying, and it's not. And because you want more than one red widget, you are just simply interested in that kind of content, and you're going to consume it from anybody. It doesn't matter. Okay. So hopefully people can understand. That's why competition is really not an issue at all. Okay. Okay, so I'm a big believer in setting goals, and I want to set the goal for phase one. So before we dive into the training that's for tonight, that's for this session, that will drive our action items, I want to know what's our goal. This is what finished looks like for me for phase one. I'd like you to build 4 sites. I should not have put 4 Facebook pages. We'll build as many Facebook pages as we need. Could be 1, it could be 4. You'll learn our process to get to 100K per year run rate, and you'll put that process in place to maintain it, and then you'll prepare for phase 2 and 3. We don't have any goals yet for phase 2 and 3. We're just going to focus on phase 1. Okay? So that's what I want our goal to be. So how are we going to structure these sessions? I like to look at what the action items are before we begin, so that you can always be referring back to those during the training, and always be asking yourself, do I have enough information to accomplish the action items? Okay? We'll go over the training that's needed to achieve the action items. We'll go through any go, no-go requirements, if applicable. That won't be applicable to every session. It is applicable to tonight. Maybe there'll be other resources that you should be looking at or reading or interacting with, and we'll look at that if applicable. We'll have Q&A, and then we'll review the action items again. Okay? So that's going to be our structure. We're deviating from it tonight just because this is the first one, and we want to introduce a lot of things. So let's dive into it, though. Okay, let's talk about what are the action items that I expect you to be able to do tonight. I want you to select the appropriate number of niches for you, and we're going to tell you what that is. I would like you to select 4 domains. We're going to tell you how to do that. I would like to have you either decide that you're going to stay with your own hosting or obtain new hosting, and I'll explain why I think you should do one or the other and where you should go if you want new. And there will be a go, no-go point for this session where I want you to report back what niches you picked and what domains you picked. And there's a little bit more detail that goes with that.